Welcome to today's Explainer. So, if you've ever found yourself needing to run a quick background check, maybe look up a property lien, or even just track a local legal proceeding, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unlock the Alachua County court record system. And honestly, the best part? We're going to do it completely for free. Let's figure out how to navigate this system together so you can start searching like an absolute pro.
We've all been there, right? You type a name into a search engine, you click on a really promising link, and then, boom, you hit this massive paywall demanding your credit card for a so-called premium background report. It's incredibly frustrating. But here's the secret. A massive treasure trove of local, official, public information is already sitting right there at your fingertips. You literally don't need a pricey third-party service. You just need to know how to use the county's official portal.
So here's our game plan for today's Explainer. We'll start with why these records matter, then we'll move on to navigating the portal and walk through a step-by-step search guide. After that, we'll cover interpreting your results, run through privacy rules and troubleshooting, and then wrap the whole thing up with some final tips. Okay, Section 1, why court records matter. Let's dive right into defining exactly what we're looking for here and why it's so incredibly valuable. So what actually is an Alachua County court record? Well, simply put, it's the official documentation of legal cases, filings, and proceedings within the county. And the ultimate master of these records is the Alachua County Clerk of Court. They act as the central official record keeper for the entire county judicial system. Basically, every time a lawsuit is filed, a traffic ticket is contested, or a marriage license is issued, the Clerk of Court is the one organizing, logging, and storing all that data. It's really amazing just how much of everyday life runs straight through this one single office. Now, when you access this database, you're essentially looking at four main buckets of information. First up, civil cases. Think lawsuits, property liens, or landlord-tenant disputes. Second, criminal cases, and that ranges from minor misdemeanors all the way up to serious felonies. Third, family cases, which cover, sensitive matters like divorce, child custody, and probate or estate issues. And finally, traffic cases, literally everything from a standard speeding ticket to a highly complex driving offense. Having access to this means you can independently verify a potential business partner's civil history or check on a neighborhood traffic incident, completely without relying on rumors or hearsay. Moving on to Section 2, navigating the search portal. Let's find out where we actually go to pull up this data. Now, before we click on anything, I found this underlying rule absolutely fascinating. According to the Florida Constitution, specifically the Sunshine Law, every individual has a fundamental right to inspect and copy any public record. So it turns out this portal doesn't exist as some sort of favor to us. It's actually a constitutional mandate for government transparency. This data rightfully belongs to you. So where do we go? Well, you're going to want to head directly to alachuacountyclerk.org. That is the official Alachua County Clerk's website. By going straight to the source, you ensure you're getting the most accurate, up-to-date information, and honestly, more importantly, you completely bypass those scammy third-party sites that try to charge you for public data. Once you're actually on the site, you'll just navigate to the court records section. Now, to actually enter the database, you are going to need to pass a capture verification. Don't let this annoy you. It's a very necessary security step. The clerk's office uses this to stop automated bots and data scraping programs from completely overwhelming their servers. Once you pass that really quick test, you are granted access to the main system dashboard. All right, Section 3, Step-by-Step Search Guide. This right here is where a lot of beginners tend to get stuck, but we're going to clear it right up. What's really fascinating here is how we absolutely must format our searches to get actual results. The system is a bit old school, and it's extremely literal. So if you're searching for a person, you must type the last name first, then a space, then the first name, and optionally the middle initial. But here is the kicker. Absolutely no punctuation. If you type John A. Smith with a period, the system will likely give you 0 results. You literally have to type Smith John A. And the exact same strict rules apply if you're searching for a business or a trust. You need to use the specific corporate search field, and you must enter the entity exactly as it's written in their official filings. For example, if the company is Acme Parts, Inc., typing just Acme might not trigger the exact match you're looking for, especially if the database is crowded. Precision is totally your best friend here. Now, if you already have a case number, that is for sure your fastest route. But here's a little insider quirk you really need to know. Statewide, Alachua County cases often have the geographic prefix 01 attached to the very front of the case number. However, when you're searching within the local Alachua portal itself, you must drop that O1 prefix. Just enter the year and the case identifier, like 2023 CF 123456. Actually, if you leave the O1 on there, the system will just get confused and give you an error.
Which brings us to Section 4, Understanding Your Search Results. The crucial point here is knowing how to actually interpret all this data once you successfully execute your search. The clerk's office provides an absolutely brilliant analogy for this. They say the index is similar to a library card catalog. When you search, you're often just looking at the index, a summary that points to the actual document images. You really cannot draw final legal conclusions just from the brief summary line on your screen. To know exactly what went down, you have to click through and read the actual document images whenever they're available. When you do manage to pull up a specific docket, it is just packed with actionable insights. You can track the exact filing dates to build out a full timeline. You'll see all the party names and their legal associations, so who's the plaintiff, who's the defendant. You can see the current case status, whether it's open, closed, or pending a hearing. You'll even see the specific judge assigned to the case. And for a lot of records dating back to the late 1990s and early 2000s, you could view the digital document images right there on your screen. Let's look at Section 5. Privacy rules and troubleshooting. This brilliantly illustrates why we really need to understand the system's limits and legal boundaries. While the Sunshine Law is incredibly broad, it does have some very necessary limits to protect privacy. Most civil, traffic, and criminal cases, wide open for public viewing. However, if you're looking for juvenile court records, adoption papers, or cases that a judge has officially sealed, you will not find them online. They are rightfully restricted and completely blocked from the public portal to protect the sensitive personal information of those involved. Now, if you do run into technical hurdles, keep these quick troubleshooting tips in mind. The system has a 30-minute idle timeout. That means if you walk away from your computer to grab a coffee, you'll be logged out and have to pass that captcha all over again. There's also a limit of 60 document views per hour to prevent server overload. From a tech standpoint, the clerk actually recommends a minimum screen resolution of 1024 by 768, which I know sounds very retro, but it ensures all the data columns actually fit on your screen. Finally, just be aware that Florida changed to a uniform case numbering system back in 1999. So if you're looking up cases older than that, the numbering format is going to look completely different. And finally, Section 6, Final Tips and Disclaimer. Let's wrap up our procedural journey here with a few essential takeaways for your research toolkit. Keep in mind that the digital era really only goes back so far. If you're looking for really old records, we're talking generally pre-1990 for trials, you might actually have to visit the physical archives in person at 201 East University Avenue in Gainesville. Also, if you need official, stamped, certified copies of a document for a real legal proceeding, you can request them, but they're going to cost you $2 per page. Need to just pay a traffic ticket? Use myfloridacounty.com. And importantly, while this portal is absolutely fantastic for research, if an employer needs a certified official criminal background check, that has to be requested through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement or FDLE portal. Real quick, before we conclude, I do need to provide a brief disclaimer. This explainer is strictly for educational and informational purposes to help you navigate public data. It is absolutely not legal advice. If you have specific legal concerns or you need to interpret how a court record impacts you personally, please consult a qualified legal professional. And that brings us to the end of our guide. You are now fully equipped to act as your own digital detective, completely bypassing all those annoying paywalls. If this explainer helped you master this public database, please hit that like button, leave a comment below, and subscribe for more deep dives. But I'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the digital keys to your local government's filing cabinet. The question is, what are you going to look for first? Happy searching!